G'day, SuperCoaches. It's SDS SuperCoach here, providing SuperCoach content for you. We're back for Throwdown Thursday as we head into round 15. 10 rounds to go. How's your side looking? Hope it's looking better than Damo. How we're doing today?
Looking better than me? What are you saying, mate?
Well, your team.
How did that sentence come out that way, mate?
I don't know. I'm on holidays. I mixed it up. I thought I'd give it a shake up. I meant your team, not you. You're always sexy, especially on Throwdown Thursdays, mate.
My team's doing all right. My team's not that bad.
No, you're going all right. You're going smoothly. We got a few things to discuss, as we always do, but as always, the run sheet is getting smaller and smaller as the season goes on. We'll give our round 14 summary of our teams. Who's on the hot seat this week? You'll have to find out. Rookie resurrection with no real second wave of rookies coming in. It looks like we're getting a really nice third wave of rookies, but it's coming in at an unfortunate time because we're looking to finish our sides. We'll discuss what's going on with the rookies and their revival. The round 15 trading philosophy, so we'll just discuss what we want to be doing to finish our teams. Players to have for the run home. Who are some guys that we're a little bit terrified not to have for the run home? Is Callum Mills the answer at 357K? Looks like he's back into the team this week. Jake Lloyd dropped. We'll have to find that out. We're going to have Damo this week telling me the 5 starting players, and I'll have to grade them. I don't know which ones they are. We ignore the break-evens with premiums when trading them in. So that might be like a Horn Francis or Sam Darcy. We'll look to discuss that. Trading primos to get more cash. We'll also discuss whether that is worth it and some captain and vice-captain options. Damo, it's always a pleasure to have you on the Throwdown Thursday live stream for 2025. Give us a summary from last round. How did last round pan for you?
I actually had a really good round. I finished on 2081. I was one of the lucky ones that had Tom McCarthy on my field, so I got his 133 as in my 18 scores, and green arrows across the board, mate.
That is awesome, mate. That is awesome. We've only got 10 rounds to go, so let's hope that stays up. I moved up another 361 spots, I believe, to 1,032 season rank overall. So that was pretty handy. Max Holmes was tremendous for me. Locked in Brayshaw's VC as well. Good to have Horn Francis and McRae back this week as well. And team is absolutely swimming lovely. So we'll absolutely take that. Let's get into a couple of these questions. If you're watching this live stream, as always, we thank you for the support. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We'll answer all questions. Spud Farmer 25. Hey, lads, Rankin and Darcy as flex or Jackson? So is it the choice of those two, and then Jackson?
Is it Rankin and Darcy as flex or just Jackson? I'm assuming. Jackson and McCarthy. So it's Rankin and Darcy or Jackson and McCarthy?
How are we reading this Tom McCarthy pick? Do we actually think he's like properly him?
That's going to be his role. That's what they brought him in for. Whether but he's not going to score 133 every week. I really like the Sam Darcy pick. I think Rankin and Darcy just wins out for me.
I think I'm going Dogger and McCarthy here, just because I think Duke Jackson's just an unbelievable pick.
My only thing with, I'm just having a look on Freo's run home. My only thing with Jackson is They bring in Darcy if the ruck matchup is too much of a brute, because Jackson can't seem to nullify the brute types, and they've got Rowan Marshall, Brodie Grundy, Lloyd Meek, and Darcy Cameron over the next month.
So do you reckon Darcy features in 2 of those 4, 3 of those 4?
Mate, Darcy could feature in all 4 of those 4 if he keeps fit. So that's my only issue. I mean, after that month though, they've got Matt Flynn, Tom DeConning, whoever Port Adelaide decide on, whoever Brisbane decide on, and then Tim English. So the last 5 games that they've got of the season look pretty good. Tonight looks pretty good, but then there's a tough month ahead, and it's just about, do you trust Luke Jackson in that tough month? Do you ride him through that tough month, or do you go for the safe-ish Rankin and Darcy combo instead?
Well, I think with Luke Jackson, I mean, he's probably just playing midfield anyway in those games with Darcy in there.
He is, but his score really only went up in that last quarter because Darcy spent a lot of time on the bench, and they were putting, and he was around the ball, but also ahead of the ball, and his score was saved by that final goal as well. So yeah, I think if you bring in Jackson, there's going to be some pain. Over the next month.
It's going to be a roller coaster. There will be a few 150s, a few 75s.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I think I'm still going Jackson and McCarthy, but it's a bloody tough call, mate. CJG. Hey, guys. Hope you're doing well, mate. Can I afford to finish my side with Mills and Kirch? Just need to upgrade flex next week, which should hopefully be Nick Martin. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine, Damo. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't mind Mills and McKercher. I think that's fine.
I think McKercher, obviously, if we're looking purely at score, it isn't nice to look at. But if we look purely at role, there is massive potential for what he can do for the rest of the season. So if you picked him up at, what was he last week? 393K. I think that's an absolute steal. And I think he can do 96, 97 in the role. Do we reckon the same, Damo?
I'm not that bullish. I think he's more in the low 90s, but I think that's fine for the run home.
Yeah.
409K, still got a really low break even at 36. I think he's still a good pickup.
Still a good pickup if you need him. So I don't mind it, CJG. And I think Callum Mills, are we bullish on the Callum Mills pick? I'm not bullish per se, but I am just thinking SuperCoach 101, a guy that's priced in the high 60s price tag. I reckon he can do
I know people are getting low on trades, but worst case scenario, Mills is someone you trade late in the season with one of your final trades to give you that boost late.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in my scenario, he's actually going to be my 24th, but I think he's perfectly fine as a 23rd as well. So
yeah,
I think the type of role we're going to see out of Callum Mills is bit of halfback, but also a few. I don't know whether the CBAs are actually going to tick up.
I have no idea where Callum Mills is going to fit.
Do you reckon he's going to play the leadership role and just be very accountable?
I feel like they want him in the midfield because by all reports, Roberts is coming back, Goulden is coming back, Papley is coming back, and Amadi is coming back, and they've dropped Jake Lloyd. So it's kind of like, I don't know exactly where he fits, but I think they want him in that centre bounce setup. Mills,
I think
Heenan,
they do
Warner.
too. They trained him. He spent most of the preseason in that midfield mix, and you would like to think that's where the end goal is for him, maybe in a few weeks' time, to be getting those 50 to 60% CBAs. So it'll be very interesting to see. But maybe in Sydney's position, they're just looking to just get him through for the rest of the season, hopefully a full preseason out of him next year. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I still think a 357k is a bargain. Nick Martin. I feel like a lot of his good fixture has been played, but I still think he'll probably go down to about 580 next week, maybe lower. And then but he's still got Gold Coast, Richmond. His run home is after this week is Gold Coast, Richmond, GWS, Dogs, Swans, Cats, Saints, Blues. That's actually a pretty good run. So I think at 570k, that's still a good pickup.
For me, I think the Nick Martin thing can wait a week because he's got the bye next week. So you're not going to benefit from bringing him in next week.
Yeah, so he's saying, so he's probably picking him up in round 17, which I like. The Greek Raven, hope you're going well, mate. Hey guys, last week, last minute, I picked Hewitt instead of Butters. That went well this week. I'm thinking Gawn and Dudley to Grundy and McCarthy. Leaves me with 320k, 5 trades, 2 primos to go. Crazy much. 5 trades with 2 primos.
I don't like this trading Gawn thing.
Yeah, I'll put it on the run sheet. I think this is really good for AFL fantasy. I'm not as bullish on it in SuperCoach as maybe some others might be, just purely because I asked people, I've had questions about, do I trade Max Gawn? And I'm thinking, right, do you have a plan to get him back in round 19 when his fixture reopens up? His next 3 weeks, when he comes back after the bye, are difficult. But that last 5-6 week stretch for the run home is really strong for Max Gawn. And if you're not going to get him back, that's going to be pretty painful. So I don't know. How do you view the Gawn trade, Damo?
I mean, you have to weigh up what you're getting in against what you're getting out, against what you're trading out. And I just think Gawn is too good to get rid of. Gawn's a captaincy option every single week, regardless of the matchup. Even if the matchup looks hard, then you're more than likely going to get at least a 110 from him, which is okay as a fallback if you need it. It feels like people are realizing how hard it is to generate cash and how much little cash they have to finish their sides. And that's why Gawn at 678k looks like a nice player that they can short and then turn into 2 premiums using another fattened rookie. I just don't like trading out someone who I consider blue chip in SuperCoach for someone who might not even reach those heights across the span of the rest of the season. And yeah, I mean, you've really got to weigh in what you're getting in versus what you're trading out. And I think Gawn is someone you know trade him out at your own peril.
Yeah, and I think as well, I think so. Some people are talking about Grundy to replace Gawn, just like the Greek Raven is here. I reckon Grundy's got, I think, the best run home for rucks, but that might also mean, so I assume this plan is to get Grundy, but you don't want to trade him out to get Gawn back in, if that makes sense, because he'll still have a fantastic last 5 to 6 weeks. You don't really want to be trading that. So how I see this move is he probably isn't looking to get Gawn back again this season. He's getting McCarthy, who looks tremendous for West Coast. 320k with 5 trades left. I would probably look, I don't know, if you still need another 2 premiums to get on field, I think, but he needs the money. I don't think I would do this. I'd probably just look to grab maybe a Callum Mills or a McKercher if you need some cheap guys to finish your team. You could look at Sam Darcy as well. So I think this is probably a little bit too crazy for my liking.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
We love your work though, Greg. Rookie coach, what an absolute young buck in the content creation world, this lad is. Hey, legends, with Lloyd out, Mills seems a bit safer with this halfback role, question mark.
Does he have the halfback role? I mean,
Well,
people are talking about Roberts going onto the wing because Lloyd is out, but no, they're bringing in Goulden. Goulden and McInerney have the wing role usually when they're fit. So isn't it going to be Goulden and McInerney on the wing with Mills, Heaney, and Warner in the middle, Roberts and Bice at half back with Blakey and then McCartan. Who else? Melican is he playing? But like, I don't think Lloyd out is signaling the role that Mills is going to get. I think Lloyd going out is because they've got a fit Errol Goulden coming in, who is currently a better player than Jake Lloyd is.
And McInerney's a better player than what Jake Lloyd is right now. And
correct.
Yeah, I think Mills is going to be playing this backline role with a few CBAs for the next couple of weeks, but I do think he could eventually move into that midfield mix. So I have heard some Swan supporters say it looks like Roberts will go to a wing, but I don't know whether that's true. Maybe rotated there at best, but Errol Goulden's coming back into the team. So I wouldn't say, well, he's certainly safe in the team, Callum Mills, and at 357K, there's a lot of meat on the bone at his price point. But I think he's interesting. Like, he likes your thoughts, Damo. He's debating whether to fade Mills.
I still think Mills is a good idea.
Yeah.
Because we have to remember that he averaged 116 back in 2022 as a midfielder. So half-back role isn't like midfield role isn't be all and end all. I don't think the half-back role is. I just think if people are trading him for for a half-back role, they're probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah. And Rookie Coach also said, everyone's looking at Darcy. I'm looking at Kennedy. And I think Matt Kennedy is a great trading target as well, but along with Darcy too. So
my one issue with Matthew Kennedy is he had 29 and kicked 3 against Geelong before they went on their bye, and he only scored like 93 or something. So it's like, what is... So he either butchers the ball or he doesn't have that magic touch that Champion Data like. So he looks like he's shooting the lights out in most games, but he's just not turning up. So yeah, I like him more for fantasy than for Supercoach Matt Kennedy.
Okay, yeah. And you're looking to bring in Darcy yourself, aren't you, Damo?
Yeah, I like Sam Darcy.
Yeah, and he is a very interesting captain option as well this week. If some people are looking to go a bit fruity there too. So.
Last game of the round, I wouldn't do it. If you could VC him, I would, but I'm not gonna captain him last game of the round.
It would be fun though.
Oh, absolutely, but I just don't have the melons to do it.
We don't have fun in Supercoach. Yeah, look, we'll get into some of more of this run sheet. So we've gotten through a fair few things already. So we've talked about trading expensive. So I guess in general, your thoughts on trading expensive primos to get cash to finish your team. Do you like that philosophy in Supercoach?
In general, no. But it depends on what's coming in for me.
That's the key, really. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think I'd like the Gawn idea if he had a much more difficult run home than what he's got in the last 5 to 6 weeks. But yeah, I don't know. I think Gawn is just such a nice captaincy option that we can't ignore. I guess we can talk about round 15 trading philosophy. So we want to be finding ways to finish our team. So we're now getting that third wave of rookies. Are we looking to bring in these type of rookies? I guess it depends on people's team situation. Are we looking to bring in these rookies that could be cash cows late in the season? Or are we looking to grab those 99K guys just to wrap up our team?
It all comes to job security.
Yeah.
If you're trading in a guy that's only going to last 3 weeks, no, I don't think you need to trade in that kind of rookie. If you're trading in a guy like Tom McCarthy, let's use him as an example. He looks like he's going to play for the rest of the season as long as he's fit for West Coast and playing that role that they brought him in for, the way that they had hoped. So he's a guy that I would absolutely look at. I think we spoke about Sam Butler before the show. He looks like he's going to stay in the Hawthorn side as long as he's contributing. He's a guy down forward. I know forward rookies that people are looking for as well. We seem to be getting lots of mids and defenders coming through that people can use that part of the ground, but not a lot up forward. So I think it comes down to job security more than anything else. The 99K guys are nice to have, and I think if you can trade them in with jobs with DPP, that's more useful if they're not going to play. But ideally, you're trading in guys that are actually playing with a bit of job security, just so you have a bit of backup. Because I know we've got the flex position, so you can have a donut on the field and still have 22 players, and you still can have a full scoring team. But just having someone to be a 23rd scorer, even if they're only going to score 45 to 60 points, that could mitigate someone potentially going off early injured and giving you that extra 20, 30 points in a week that you might need.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, there's going to be people in different situations where there might be some first year players that maybe might need a Jack Martin, a Sam Butler to make them cash, and they might finish their team maybe in round 18, as opposed to maybe some people looking at finishing their teams next week, or in most situations, people look to make sure that their team is complete heading into the first week back of best 22 after the bye rounds. So that would be heading into round 17. I guess one thing I probably should have included, I guess it's the simple one we ask every year. How many trades should we have for the last? Let's say you're looking at finishing your team round 17, as most people are in certain scenarios. How many trades would you like to have? And we can try to cover all bases of what team situations people are in.
In an ideal world, you have 4 or 5. No, sorry, you have 5 or 6.
Okay.
I've got a team as complete as it's going to get, and I've got 4.
I'm going to have 4 as well. So I think 4 is perfectly fine. And I'm going to, there is a question about having a 24th, and I'm interested to answer that, but I will be having 24 premiums, and they'll leave me with 4 trades. Ideally, I think as well, we would like to have some money banked for the run home, because say a player gets injured, there will be injuries that come for the last 8 weeks. We just don't know how and when and who. We want to be having a bit of money banked as well, because let's say Horn Francis gets injured again and he's out for 4 to 6 when in a trade, and it's similar to what he did with his hamstring. Scored an 8, that's going to plummet down his price. And let's say we're trying to trade him out at 450K. That makes it very hard. So if you can include some money banked, that includes your flexibility with what you can do with that money. Because most players that do get injured, it's not the best amount of money we have available on his head to be moving off to a different guy. So I think the more money in the bank, the better. I think 80K plus is really nice to have. Yeah, like for example, I think if you've got 3 trades with not much money banked, that's a little bit dodgy, because you're strictly for injuries. If we can get through a month, if we can get through 4 weeks without any injuries, And those people on 4 trades could maybe use to look to maybe do a luxury if they can, especially with that money banked. If there is a guy you have in your team that hasn't got a great run home for the last 5 weeks, and you're looking at a guy that you can afford that might be 60K more expensive with a really nice run home, I think that's another good advantage of having money in the bank. So that is just my thoughts on that. I think ideally it is, the general vibe is for the more the merrier though with trades.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think any less than 4, and that's when it starts to get a little bit dicey. Causa, hope you're doing well, mate. I'm looking at Huss, Gray, and Elijah Hewitt for Darcy, Liddy, and McCarthy. Want playing players for next week. What do we think of Matt Liddy? Is that his name? Matty Liddy's job security?
Manny Liddy, I don't...
Manny.
Look, at 26, 27, you would hope that they drafted him for a role to play, because you don't usually draft players in that age range to sit on a shelf. But in saying that, he did look a little bit flustered at the level against Melbourne, and I would hate to see him up against a more accomplished team going forward. So I think he's a definite sub risk if he's got job security. But I don't mind the trades to bring in Darcy and McCarthy. And even if Liddy does only play selected games across the back end of the season, I don't think he's a bad trade in. Only 34 on debut though, so didn't exactly, set the world on fire.
But maybe he just needs bodies on field for next week. And if Liddy can hold his spot this week and next week, then that could turn out to be really handy for his score.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
In general, I like these trades, I think, Damo.
Yeah.
I
think
like
that's
them.
fine. I think that's fine.
And he said he'll be getting Sam Butler and Bo Allen next week as well. So they're nice. Yeah, good to see my loophole starting rookie Bo Allen finally show up. So God bless you, Bo.
You know what though? I actually respect what Andrew McQualter said. He said in an ideal world they just wouldn't be the sub, but I probably haven't used the sub the best, and so he committed to giving Bo Allen a full game a week out. I respect that Andrew McQualter put his hand up there and helped out his player to get a proper run.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I respect that, and it was actually looking like this. I guess Clay Hall. It's easy to say. Clay Hall was always looking like he was going to be the sub, but they did say there was thoughts. There was a report I read last week that Tom McCarthy's making his debut and he won't be sub, and I think then it said something like people close to Bo Allen are warming to the fact that he'll have to be sub again. And Eagles fans were like losing their shit. Yeah, that would have been very interesting if he was sub again. This is a question I really like out of Alec right here. Is there a point in having a 24th premium? And I've been questioning about that as of late because I'm looking to get 24 premiums. But with this flex, like best 20, best 22, you can cover that. So I don't know. What do you think, Damo?
So if you have 23 primos and they're all on field, you're only going to get 22 scores anyway. So having that 24th guy on your bench essentially doesn't cover anything because you've already got that guy in your flex covering the rest of your team anyway. So you want a playing player on your benches that can cover people. But as long as you've got a nice player in your flex, a premium, a guy that is scoring 80 plus most weeks, I think that's fine. I think having a 24th primo, while it's a nice luxury to have, and if you have that luxury, then go for it. But I don't think it's something that you're going to see the full benefit of straight away. because you've got that flex position, because it's only best 22 scoring or best 18 scoring as it is now during the buys. I just think spending that money is fine because you got it, but you're not going to see the full benefit of it. So is there a point in having a 24th primo? Well, there is, but it's not something that you need to have.
You don't need to have it at all. And it's a luxury. And I think you've nailed that. Like, you don't, and I think last year and previous years where it was best 22, because we had 22 guys on field, there was more merit in having a 23rd in that style than there is having a premium on the bench now, because a lot of it can be covered. So, yeah, I have been questioning that, and I have been thinking I could just go F it, let's get Tristan Cherry and ignore a 24th, which I have been toying around with, but I've wanted this whole season to have a 24th, and I'm happy to learn lessons for next year. If I don't want to backtrack from my whole game plan from this season, and I'm happy to learn and lessons if we don't really need a 24th, but it might come in handy for a round if there's a couple of guys with 1 or 2 week injuries. You can pop Callum Mills in there, but now a lot of people have Tom McCarthy, who basically could just cancel out Callum Mills and his purpose, but that's all right. I don't think it's necessary, but it's cool if you can get it. Ralphie, hi guys, your thoughts on Rouston?
I just worry about the job security and whose spot he's taking up in the Giants side at the moment.
Well, is it Stephen Cornelio's spot that he's taken up? The
Giants are so hard to read because they don't have the strongest midfield, and Rouston is a good centre bounce midfield in the VFL. So maybe they're trying to get exposure into a guy like Rouston, and maybe he will play on the run home. But I'm not sure. The Giants are weird. The Giants are weird at the moment. They're trying to work out why it's not working, and then it is working. So they're not changing things, and then it's not working again. So yeah, Rouston's got massive sub risk written all over him as well.
Do you reckon he is solid he's solid cover for the midfield, or I almost prefer Sam Butler?
There's sub issues for me. He's either going to be subbed in or out in a few games, and that's going to kill someone.
Will you look to get him in after his bye, or
no?
I don't think I am either. I think I'm just going to hold on to Zach Johnson. I don't hate Rouston, but it's very hard to read the Giants. Yaron, hope you're going well, mate. Hey, legends, would love your best guess at who starts as Freo sub tonight. Damo, you're the expert.
It will be James Aish. I'm pretty sure it'll be James Aish. So they said that Fife will have to get a full game in this week, or they would have to send him back to Peel to get some match fitness, because you can only be sub for so long in a row. Erasmus has been pretty much playing the O'Meara role. So I don't know if Erasmus stays in once O'Meara is back, if O'Meara comes back. O'Driscoll will be in for wing run for a bit of run on the wings. Maybe might spend a bit of time forward, but he will take Switkowski's center bounces as well, with Switkowski out. And then Murphy Reid. I don't think Murphy Reid will be sub. So I think it's going to be James Aish.
Thank you for that, Damo. I didn't even know James Aish was playing tonight. So thank you.
To be honest, there's probably some people who forgot he existed, and I was one of them until about six weeks ago.
Yeah, he's had a very interesting career. XQRHD, hope you're doing well, mate. Warming to Jack Martin as playing forward cover. Think even if he does get rested, he will have better job security than Butler and is a better player. I've seen him off the half back a little bit as well, so he could get forward defence.
Better
DP
job security, but his fitness is my only issue. I know Geelong have that magic powder that they put on their injury prone players that somehow make them not injury prone anymore. But Jack Martin probably has the job security better than Butler, but I just don't know about the fitness staying in that role. And I know he scored 70 from 60% game on time on ground, so he's scoring well in the role. I'm just not entirely sure that I trust his body.
Do you think he's good forward cover though, over like a Butler?
I think they're about the same.
About the same. Yeah, fair enough. I think Jack Martin's scoring potential is better than Sam Butler's, but yeah, it's just the body, whether that can hold up. That role is sexy, 79 points off 61% TOG. Do you see the TOG going up and up as the season goes on?
Yeah, I can also see Chris Scott giving him the sub vest maybe a couple times a week. A couple times in the back half of the season.
Yeah. Yaron and XQHD having a bit of a convo here. So they also said it'll be James Aish. So that is fair enough. Rouston just gives me sub every week vibes. That sounds about right. Once Tobias comes back, so it's probably Toby Green, isn't it? I guess. So once Toby comes back in and Delana goes, there's no way Rouston starts over anyone in that GWS midfield zone. And the Giants are, they're battling to stay in the top 8. When the whips are cracking, I just don't know whether Rouston's going to continue to stay there. They probably want their old heads in there for experience. Agreed. Give the lad continuity. I say full games, not because of my SuperCoach lol.
I actually really like Neil Erasmus, and I think he adds something that not a lot of people see. I think he's one of those midfielders that it's more than the stats sheet than it's more than what you see on the stats sheet. And I really hope that beyond this season, he sticks around and they give him a best 22, best 23 spot. But yeah, I'm not, I don't know. I mean, I think he wants a bit more of a prolific role, but at the moment, what he's doing is helping the team probably more than the stat sheet shows.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's head into a couple more of these things on the run sheet here. So, we've got a couple of more things. So, what are players to have for the run home demo? Like, who are some guys that we don't that we might not have in our team that we're a little bit terrified of not having?
Sam Darcy. Well, I've got Sam Darcy now, but I was terrified of not having him for the run home. So I was unfortunately having to bring him in this week at the expense of someone who got injured, but I was terrified at the prospect of potentially not having him.
Yeah, and he's so hard to stop. I think I saw a graphic during the week on Twitter. His full reach up in the air, 355 centimeters.
Yeah, so like he's 208 centimeters. He's got a really good leap. Then once his arms are up in the air, so at the highest point, it's like 351 or 361 or something. So yeah, it's massive.
The only one person that can stop him is Victor Wembanyama. So, did you see the photos?
Do you know what's funny though? The only key defender that comes close to being similar in size to Sam Darcy also plays for Western Bulldogs, and his name is Rory Lobb.
Yeah, legit. And yeah, he's that's unbelievable. That's going to be the new age of key forwards. He's our prototype on how key forwards can kick 100 goals in a season again. They just have to, like that height.
Be super tall, have a good leap, actually mobile. Be a ruckman, but be better as a forward.
Yep. I think for me, Max Holmes, I've got him, but I think with the run Geelong have and the fact that the tag is going to go to Bailey Smith before Holmes is just, I think he is.
Well, hang on a minute.
What?
Hold on.
What?
Does the tag go to Max Holmes before Bailey Smith before Max Holmes?
The way I think
Are you sure? Because
I'm,
because the last 2 weeks has told me that perhaps Max Holmes probably deserves the tag more than Bailey Smith.
I guess he's getting closer to that stage, but Baz Lenker has one hand on the Charlie at this stage.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that he's going to get tagged.
Yeah. Well, I think Geelong's run home is like they're not going up against too many taggers. Like, I think the only team I can see in that last fixture that might double tag is Port Adelaide, because they run about 15 taggers each week.
Port Adelaide don't really tag anymore, actually.
No, they do, Damo.
They've got Willem Drew, who's about as effective as a wet paper bag, mate.
What about Bergman?
Bergman doesn't tag.
Well, he did to start with in the midfield and then moved away into his own game.
They play the Giants on the run home as well.
Yeah, so Bedford will go to one of them. Yeah, I think the obvious one for me is Tristan Cherry. Like, just not having him sucks. But his next month is similar to Gawn, where it's pretty difficult. But again, those last 6-7 weeks for North Melbourne are just absolutely insane. So, yeah, Tristan Cherry's the obvious one. I've got Rowan Marshall, so probably losing 60 points each week, realistically, on that. I think Tristan Cherry's the main one for you. It's Sam Darcy.
But I own him, so it's okay now.
Well, you're looking to grab him this week. Fair enough. Is there anything else? Maybe you can send me through your 5 players, Damo.
All right.
Those 5. So just a little reminder for all the viewers. For the run home for the rest of the season, we're going to be naming. We're going to change each week, but we're going to be naming 5 players that were starting picks, and we're going to grade them from 1 to 5. 1 being a disaster, a catastrophe. 5 being season-defining pick. So, okay. Damo, hit it away.
First name. People were on the fence about this guy, and due to the fact that he had a role that could potentially be really good for his scoring, but then also a role that he could potentially be flipped back into that would be really bad for his scoring. And he entered into a lot of teams, featured in the flex position for a lot of teams as well. Sam De Koning.
As a starting pick. Wow. I'm giving this a 2.
Okay.
I don't think he was a disaster. I think he was solid enough. The logic made sense. Like, he was starting the season as a starting ruckman, but it just didn't continue. And then, I think I'm giving it a 2. I don't think it's a catastrophe. It is a fail, but not crazily enough. I'd give that a 2. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm probably at a 2 as well. I mean, I didn't really think about him until the other week. When he got injured, when he got injured on the weekend. So yeah, I'm probably a 2.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I was very close to starting him, by the way. Very close.
Next guy, Dane Zorko.
Oh, that is a good one. Oh, well, I'm giving it a 4. I thought it was a, yeah, I'm giving it a 4. I think it was a very good starting pick. If you traded into him later, then it's not looking as good. But I thought he was a great starting pick. At 595k, I think it was roughly that. Entered a lot of people's teams pretty late into the piece. I think a 4 sounds about right. I thought Zorko was a success.
He's a 3 for me.
So you reckon he's it's fine.
You'll take it, but you could have started someone better with a bit more value, perhaps.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, I say that because after his 3 weeks, he hasn't just done that much. But he's still a premium. Gee, actually. Can I change?
Go on.
No, I think I'm going to agree with you with a 3. I haven't had Zorko this year, so I haven't intensely looked, but it felt like he's been doing pretty good most weeks. But I've been looking at his scores and I'm thinking, gee, there are 4 tons after round 3. So I think that's a 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one, I think we're going to have a debate here on this one. Or maybe not, I'm not sure. Clayton Oliver.
That is a good one. A 3. I don't think it was a fail because of his price. Where and he did outdo what he was priced at.
Did he?
I'm giving that a 3. I don't think it was a fail. Are you going 2?
I'm going 2.
Gee, really?
So he started the season at 451. He's currently 455. And he's gone up and down, up and down, up and down. He really hasn't moved away from his price point whatsoever. I think he is a fail.
Okay. Yeah, at 450. So he started the season at a 451 price tag, and most people traded him out after round 7 because he was ruled out for round 8's game, and I believe that was against West Coast, to my knowledge. I think that was the West Coast game he missed due to illness. Yeah, so he barely moved from his price tag. Yeah, so I think I'm still going to go 3 because it wasn't like he didn't perform worse. I think it was like okay to have until you need to get rid of type thing. So yeah, I can see 2. I think I'm going 3. I don't think it was. I think it's okay. He just didn't do any better than what he was priced at.
The next one, I think this will be pretty simple, so we can probably do this one really quickly. Max Gawn.
I'm going to give it a 4 just because as a starting pick, I'm going to give it a 4 because he went down 100k for people to pick him up. So
yeah. I was thinking 4 or 5. You couldn't go less than 4 or 5.
Yeah, I would go 4 just purely based on the fact that he dropped to 580 for people to pick him up. Yep. You'd be happy that you started him, but he was attainable.
And then the last one, Isaac Rankin.
If you asked me this 7 weeks ago, it was probably a 4.
I'm gonna say something that I think he is a 4.
I think he's a 4.
I think he is a 4, and I'll tell you why.
Yes.
2 years ago, Lincoln McCarthy on total points. Lincoln McCarthy, so the small forward that's done his ACL twice for Brisbane now, was a top 10 forward for total points with an average less than 90. Well, less than 90. I don't think being a top forward relies on an average. It relies on playing and having a low and having a low standard deviation.
Okay. Yeah,
Isaac
I can.
Isaac Rankin's lowest score of the season is a 62. Other than that, hasn't gone below 80.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. Yeah, I think. I'll accept a 4. I'll accept a 4, and I think I'll agree with you there because he was looking unbelievable to start the season. He has petered away from what he's usually capable of, just due to less midfield time and that stuff. But I went into if I look back at the starting pick of Rankin, and I don't regret it at all, and I think that's a 4. Like he was what 520K for a guy that you're very certain is a top 6 forward, and you pay that, and that feels good. So he's averaging a 97 for the year. It was going to look like it was looking like a 105 average sort of pick. He's dribbled down a little bit, but yeah, I'd give it a 4.
Yep. I'm
Was that your 5?
definitely with you on that. That's 5.
Perfect. Thank you, Damo. And I'll think of 5 more names for you next week as we'll continue that series, as there is less to talk about as we go forward for the season. I've missed a few of the comments, so I will get back to that. Erasmus just needs to play one more game for me so I can sell him to Horn Francis next week. Yeah, I mean, that will work out just fine.
He should play two more games if you want to make sure of it.
Yeah. If you want that to be an absolute sure thing, for sure. Nick Real standing beside him post game and made him look short. Yeah, so that was with Sam Darcy. Yeah, just an absolute freak. And did you hear Buddy Franklin's comments during the week on the Shane and Buddy show, which is a new podcast this year? Shane Crawford and Buddy Franklin. He said if I was Tasmania, I'd offer him a $2.5 to $3 million per year deal contract.
Jeez.
Would you do that?
I don't think he would do that. I think he's too deep-seated in the Bulldogs culture.
I think he is as well. Yeah.
But in saying that, the Bulldogs would have to come to the party with at least 1.2 to 1.5 plus a season.
I think he'll be the first $2 million man.
Oh, every chance. But I'm saying at least if that offer comes from Tasmania, the Bulldogs will need to come with something that, at least turns his head a little bit.
Yeah. They need to try to find a way to match that as best as they can. Teach the aspiring rucks to kick straight, and you'll have a league full of 120 goal seasons. Yeah, legit. I think he is just. We're just going to be seeing more of these guys, and hope. And even if they're just not even footballers, just athletes, to eventually learn how to play football, the forward line is just going to be filled with 36 Sam Darcys in about 30 years. Baz scored 85 on Bergman with a half of tagging anyway. Who cares? Yeah, that's true. Oh, so you guys were chatting about the Bergman Petrarca thing.
I had to get into the chat to get a hold of this.
Damos, you've chimed in. Yeah, when the fuck did you have time? Well, he's chimed in.
I've got my fingers everywhere, mate. The D's played fucking awful, mate. They were kicking it like 23% at one point. I don't think Bergman on Petrarca impacted Petrarca's score. I think Petrarca, in fact, tagged himself out of that game.
I'll leave you two to that conversation. G-Bags, hey fellas, looking to trade out Elijah Hewitt this week, but I'm unsure on whether to go to Sarong or George Hewitt. Any thoughts would be great. Thanks.
Flip a coin.
I think Hewitt out of those two.
Yeah, I think Hewitt as well, but I think flip a coin. You're going to get pretty similar output from here.
Yeah, I think I'd lean towards Hewitt. And What was the next one? Yeah, Causa. Ash would have been a better starting pick. He would have. There's usually a defender that just comes out of nowhere. We thought that was going to be Jake Bowie, but I guess he's one as well. But Lockie Ash just all of a sudden becoming another clone of Lockie Whitfield. I didn't have that on my bingo card for SuperCoach this year, so he's been tremendous. He's only had 3 games without a ton. That is unbelievable. And still very attainable after his bye. So, and he's still like a big pod. So if you want to pod for the run home, pay $560K for Lockie Ash. And I don't think I can tell you the ownership. I don't think it was many. 3.2% started Lockie Ash. And that's now up to 12.1%. So he's still
he's still a pod.
Still a huge pod. So get a hold of him while you can. Lots of people did Gawn to Zorko after round 3 for sure, I feel. Was that a thing? Was that a talking point?
That was a thing.
Real. That is season defining right there. Gee whiz. Oh my God. Oh yeah, it's because everyone called Gawn washed like after a couple of bad games.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. Yeah. DJ Gardner-Holmes, welcome aboard, my man. Wise words from a man that was a generational talent himself. Was he talking about, is that me?
Lance Franklin.
Buddy, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was a generational talent.
You are, mate, but not in this context.
Yeah, just in the podcast world. I'm just following my footsteps of Damo. I remember someone told me if you're 190 plus centimeters and athletic and not playing VFL, at least VFL, you're a failure. Yeah, I think we're just going to see we're just going to be seeing more and more athletes just who might not even know how to kick a ball, but just, yeah, that's the way about it. Will Luke Jackson get that horror mids/ruck DPP next year? He might.
I don't think so. I think he's more likely to be. He's more likely to just keep ruck forward.
You reckon?
Yeah.
So you still reckon he'll be forward eligible next year?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that becomes very interesting next year if Darcy does go. Spud Guns. G'day, lads. It's Dogger season tonight. Yeah. Unbelievable VC pick. Are you a big fan of Dogger as a VC tonight? I mean, I think you have to be.
Against Vigo, yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, he is just an unbelievable pick to kick off your weekend. Jackson will be forward ruck. Yeah, so he will be very, very expensive next year. So that'll be quite interesting whether people will go there. He's playing 50-50 mid forward, pretty much when he's not rucking. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, God, I just saw the comment at the bottom.
All right, fair enough.
Jono, how we going, mate? G'day, legends. Ashcroft, I assume Levi Ashcroft, to Hewitt, Hall to Butler, I assume that's Max Hall, and Clark to Dacos, Angus Clark to Nick Dacos. Thoughts? Well, Angus Clark has another chance tonight to reignite some more cash gen, but do you like these moves? I like them.
So Ashcroft to George Hewitt, Hall. Is that Max Hall or Clay Hall?
That might be. Yeah, Max or Clay Hall, either way, I think it's fine to move on.
And then Clark to Dacos. Yeah, that's fine.
I think they're very nice moves. Jackson will go 190 tonight. Every chance he does. Vigo Visentini, that is a poor debut potentially coming up for Vigo. Yeah. I used to be. I'm washed now, unfortunately.
and I replied,
We'll link up one day, DJ. We'll link up. I'll show you my generational talent.
Hang on. Jono's given us more context.
Clay Hall
Will
and
Ashcroft. Will Ashcroft.
Yeah,
What's
that
Will What's Will doing these days?
I feel like he's been fine. But there's too many cooks in the kitchen to score well consistently in that Brisbane midfield.
Look, it is an upgrade on Ashcroft anyway to go from him to Stewart to Hewitt, but I don't know if it's that much of an upgrade that you need to do it.
Brisbane have a pretty crap run home, don't they, for opposition mids?
Brisbane and Essendon possibly have the hardest run home from here for midfielders. So that brings the likes of Merritt and Neil might have pretty poor back ends of the season, and then they'll be nice and cheap, and people will start them next year anyway.
Yeah, probably. Probably. What am I up to? Sorry, I've lost my bearings here. So yeah, Clay and Will. I'd still do these moves, I think.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't know how much of a point gain you're getting with George Hewitt. Probably enough to make it worth it. Weighing up whether I want to spend my third trade on Will Ashcroft or Darcy, or do it next week. I think if you want Darcy,
trading Will Ashcroft, he's been fine.
I don't think there's much wrong with Will Ashcroft.
Is it because of the bye? Is it because of the round 16 bye?
Probably. Well, I think Will Ashcroft outscores Darcy. But if you need a forward, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Damo, you should take me to. You should take the great man of Revs one night. I've been to Revs. It's not my cup of tea. I don't know. Have you been?
I'm fine being a recluse, thank you.
Yeah, Revs on a Monday morning. That was generational a few years ago. Plan for next week is Erasmus, Shea, Will Ashcroft to Bont, JHF, Darcy. Have cash to do it. Just unsure whether I want to sell the bloke who will lose the most cash this week and get a potential 150. Yeah, so I'm waiting on Bont just because of that. I planned out my team to bring in Bontempelli this week, but with that 66, I'd rather grab him at 550. But I know I'm missing out on a potential huge score from him this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, for next week, I think I like that next week. I think that those are good moves. I think they're good moves. Let's get back into the run sheet. We'll do a couple more things and we'll answer some final questions. We'll probably wrap it up there. Yeah, so I guess we sort of talked about it, like ignoring break evens for premium. So like Sam Darcy, for example, would you ignore that break even to get him in this week?
Well, you're bringing him in for the rest of the season, so you're not looking to trade him out. You're not looking to short him. A lot of people are probably running out of trades, so yeah, I don't think break evens really matter anymore too much.
As long as you've got the money to make it work. And same thing with Horn Francis, if he plays.
Yeah. Sounds like he will.
It does sound like he will. Like, yeah, he was a test to play. They said he was available, didn't they? Is there anything else I'm missing? A couple of things, aren't I? On the hot seat, who have we got on the hot seat this week, Damo? Who needs a kick up the arse, Damo?
On the hot seat for me is Shy Bolton.
Need a big night tonight?
Needs a big night tonight.
I think he does as well, yeah. I think Shy Bolton needs to lift. Who's on the hot seat for me this week? Gee. That is a tricky one because I love all my players.
I'll tell you what, though. On the mini hot seat is Lachie Neale. He comes up against Geelong, who don't restrict too many midfields. So if Lachie Neale doesn't have a good night at the Cattery, despite whatever the result is at the end of the night, I think we're going to see Lachie Neale start to go down his hill a bit.
Yeah. I put Chad Warner on the hot seat last week, so hopefully that gave him a rev up for this week. So
I'm bullish on Chad Warner. I think with the Swans getting back the likes of Goulden, Papley, Amati, Mills is back already, Roberts is coming back in. It should see him return to that prime role that he had that everyone wanted to bring him in for earlier in the year. About 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think on the hot seat for me is another Swan, and that's going to be Callum Mills, the bloke that I'm bringing in this week for Luke Pedlar. Obviously, a disappointing season from the Sydney Swans. They need their captain to fire for the run home for them to have any last chance of making finals. The captain needs to lift. He's missed a lot of time through Mad Monday and bloody injury. He needs to fire up for the run home, and he needs to lead by example. So Callum Mills, you're on watch for this week and for the rest of the season. So I don't know. That was a tough one to pick for me this week. I love all my boys. And we're going to talk about some vice captain and captains. So vice captain. So we're looking at, I'll bring up the games while we're here. Let me just reset this. We've got some interesting options. So, like, obviously tonight, I think Luke Jackson is just about the best captain pick of the week. Close enough. So I think he's a great pick. Do you see anyone else getting off the chain for tonight?
It depends where the Setterfield tag goes. I love the Brayshaw pick as a VC option, as someone you don't potentially have to lock in, but I do worry about the Setterfield tag and who he goes to. But if Setterfield goes to Brayshaw, then Sarong will get off the chain, and vice versa.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of those guys should do well tonight. I don't think there's really anyone for Essendon. I think they're just hoping for it not to be a smashing. Geelong, Brisbane, I'm finding for options. I don't think there's two. There's Bailey Smith and Max Holmes, as they're just in such a good. They're just in such good form at this stage. But going up against Brisbane, it's a little bit tougher to predict how they'll go. But they're still perfectly fine as VC and C. Do you see anyone for Brisbane potentially as a vice captain that could do well tomorrow night?
Yeah, Holmes and Smith are probably the main ones. Like I said, Lachie Neale, I've got my eye on potentially, not as a VC option, but I want to see how he does against a midfield that doesn't really lock anyone down. So yeah, I'm interested to see a bounce back from Lachie Neale. I want him to get another 120 plus score under his belt.
Agree. Do you reckon a guy like Josh Dunkley could do well?
Yeah, potentially.
It's a hard one to predict there. I think there's a few here for Carlton, North Melbourne. I think Tristan Cherry's a pretty obvious one. DeConing can leak points to hit outs. He has been better this year, but Tristan Cherry's Tristan Cherry. He's just going to cook. I think George Hewitt is a very nice little VC or C there. I quite like him as well. I think they're the main two really for that game. For Saturday, while I put Adelaide, Sydney, I think Zach Butters could still go well against the Swans, maybe despite a James Jordan tag.
No, well, do you remember earlier in the year, James Jordan attempted to tag Rosie, and Rosie still managed a 103. So I don't think the Jordan tag is as effective as people
It
think it
once
is.
was. Yep.
But I mean, he can still get someone on his day, but I just don't know if Butters or Rosie will be affected too much by a Jordan tag.
Do you reckon Jordan will swap the tag to Butters now?
Potentially, but I mean, Butters still scored 101 up against Viney, so you know, Viney is probably just as capable.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I prefer that as a VC rather than a C. If you can hold out your VC for that late. For the Sydney side, I don't really see much there. Actually, no, sorry, I'm lying. I think Brody Grundy could go really well against Vizentini.
Mm,
I like
I'll
him.
tell you. I'll tell you who's a sneaky option. Isaac Heaney, if you own him.
Heaney, you reckon? Okay.
He's quietly having a good season, and I don't think people have really paid attention to it much.
I think it's because of how good of a season he had last year that everyone's where he hasn't been as good as last year.
No.
Where people have just totally forgotten about him. I think he's still a good trade-in target, to be honest, but can't quite fit him in. Collingwood St Kilda, I still think Nick Dacos could get off the chain here. I wouldn't have him as captain, but if you want to hold your feet,
even with Windhager.
Well, I think Bontempelli and Nick Dacos are probably different types of players in terms of how they react to the tag. Bont was
but I think I think Windhager is probably can probably adapt.
Can Windhager keep up with Dacos outside the contest?
I mean, Ross Lyon also flagged that it might not be Nick Dacos, it might be Josh Dacos that Windhager tags. So,
okay,
yeah,
there you go. He could still go pretty well, I reckon, tomorrow. I think Josh Dacos should, if he doesn't get the Windhager tag, I think he can do well. I don't think there's really anyone for the Saints I predict there. I'm finding this to be a little tricky of a week for VC and C. I think GWS Gold Coast,
Whitfield.
Whitfield could go really well. Suns are one of the easiest teams to score points on. So I also think Tom Green's a very safe fallback captain.
I don't think there's anyone else really out of the game unless you want to go for a Wits against a Madden, but yeah.
Yeah, if you own Jared Wits, that could be pretty good. And then this is probably one of the main talking points for vice captain this week. The Dogs have got Richmond. Marcus Bontempelli should be able to put in a very score.
Richards, Dale, even Sam Darcy if you're feeling a little bit,
wacky.
Yep.
I think even. Yeah, I think Richards and Bont especially could really get off the chain. I think Dale could do well as well. I wouldn't say there's anyone for Richmond because we don't own any Richmond players realistically besides Gray.
Dion Prestia, if people are going for the meatball.
We haven't talked about him all show, and probably for good reason.
I'm kind of glad. Can we just stop before we need to?
Yeah. So I think that in itself, you can hear our thoughts on what we think of Prestia as an option. I would say the main four guys for vice captain and captain would be my four favourite ones are Luke Jackson, Tristan Cherry, Ed Richards, Bontempelli for me.
Personally for my team this week, I'm going Bailey Smith into Tristan Cherry.
Yep. This week for me, I think I'm going Brayshaw tonight into Dale because I don't own Bont or Cherry. If Brayshaw can give me a 120, that would be perfect. I'm not looking for a huge BC this week. We'll get into some more final questions and we'll probably wrap it up there. Thank you for all the comments, by the way. This has been a very nice show and from the crew. Thoughts on Nakos at flex? I think he's perfectly fine.
Yeah, fine.
I think Nick Dacos has that potential to just go bonkers, and they've got Richmond and West Coast for the run home. So they haven't played them yet. Jackson Moody. Thoughts on downgrading Gawn to Jackson? Have enough cash to bring Gawn back in a couple of rounds. Okay, that's good to hear. Would then have Cherry, Gawn, TDK, Jackson in the team for the run home. Downside is would be having McCarthy at flex. Well,
Hold. McCarthy at flex, meaning that you have TDK on your bench.
Oh wait, yeah.
I don't like that.
So I guess he could just move McCarthy to defense or midfield.
Yeah, but then he has to trade in a non-playing ruckman.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah,
no, I don't like this.
Yeah. Can we get some clarification on that? Send me a DM at Stephen DW Smith on Twitter. Damo, your Twitter is DamoSC, isn't it?
Yep.
Just in case we might not get back to you in time. DJ Gardner-Holmes, SuperCoach got in the hot seat. He has been MIA since he traded Dacos. Nah, I won't stand for SuperCoach God. This is here. I love him. I've met him personally. He's a beautiful lad. Colby McCurch, sneaky VC.
Well, gave up 133 to a first gamer.
Yeah, that's true.
Sneaky VC. Yeah, sneaky.
He's sneaky. I mean, I assume McCurcher isn't going to go 52% by disposal efficiency this week. So I think he's very sneaky. Harley, hope you're doing well, mate. Is Cherry to Jackson crazy with only 5 trades, 1 upgrade to make?
Absolutely, that is crazy.
Yeah, I think I'd worry about the upgrade. No, Cherry, no. If you've got a plan to bring him back in, maybe. But if you don't, then no. I don't think so. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think that's worth it, Harley. Yeah, leaked 133 to McCarthy. MC Beamy, hope you're doing well, mate. This week I'm going, hope all is well. I'm going Brayshaw into Cherry and g'day, lads.
Yeah, that's fine.
That is perfect.
Fine by me. That's good.
JG. Whoops. JG, hope you're doing well, mate. Oh, boy, I'm late to the party. Oh, good boy. You're going to be listening on repeat. Catch you in an hour. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Too kind. Love your work, mate. Hewitt into Bont for me this week. That is gorgeous. I like that. Put some respect on the meatball lads. Holy moly. Oh, mate. I know you like him. I'm sorry, but I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. It's just not for me.
Before, how long does he play before he gets injured just thinking about a hamstring?
Yeah, if he's your 24th, I don't mind it, but no, I'm sorry. I wish I could say some nice things about the human meatball. I do like him, but just not for me. Placey can move Gawn. Gee, a lot of people trading Gawn. Can move Gawn, Long, Roberts. So Ned Long, Matty Roberts. So that's 3. That's a premium and 2 close enough premiums to TDK, Hewitt, and Rosie. Then I'll have one upgrade.
It's so sideways.
It's a very sideways. 1 upgrade to go. Pedler to Darcy and finish with 3 trades. I don't know.
It's redistributing the cash, so you're getting a more even spread across the scores, but you're probably getting the same points, the same points across the board.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I think Gawn, Long, and Roberts can score the same as TDK, Hewitt, and Rosie. So I don't know. I'm personally not a fan, mate. what did he say here? Or could even go Gawn and Pedler to TDK and Darcy. That I prefer. I prefer that over the other one.
Yeah, maybe.
You're going up in a premium at least.
True.
Scott Philpott, hope you're doing well, mate. Jacko went 154 versus Marshall and 116 versus Meek last year. 97 versus Grundy and 111 versus Cameron this year. I think he's improved.
Oh, he's improved for sure. But the brute types. So Luke Jackson.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But he's improved for sure. But he's a better ruckman than Sean Darcy is at the moment for sure. But he really, really struggled against Tristan Sherry last Saturday night. And the week before, they had to bring in Darcy to help combat Wits. So I think there is still growing for him to do. And he's only 21. He's going to get better. It's just he struggles against the brute types at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Going Brayshaw into Bond for VC. Yeah, that is awesome. Who scores higher, Baz or Bond?
Baz or Butters?
Jay, sorry, I'm losing my head here. Baz or Butters? I think Butters. I think they score pretty similar. I think Butters' ceiling
this week higher. Is it this week? I think Bailey Smith. But for the season, from here until the rest of the season, it wouldn't surprise me if it's Butters.
Yep. JM just clarified that McCarthy.
Okay, so McCarthy would be flex, but in another position.
Yeah. Jackson forward TDK flex.
Okay, then I like that move a lot more. Then.
Yeah, I do as well. What do you think McCarthy scores for the run home?
McCarthy's average?
Yeah.
I think it can be an 85 to 95.
Gee. Well, I did tweet about a month ago, we need our Lawson Humphreys of 2025. It's probably this guy right here. I think he scores pretty similar to what Marich did in that role.
Yeah.
I think that's how I view it.
Yeah.
CWT. Okay, so this is with Prestia. Hear me out. If you have a spare trade, grab the meatball. Ride that some bitch until it crashes and burns. Make 100 to 150K off him. Flip to a gun made of titanium, not paper. I mean, it's a good way to put it.
Spare trade? Who in this economy has a spare trade?
Well, I mean, Spud Guns is
spare trade.
He's in the top 100. He's probably got to spare plenty of trades with the way he's been playing. So, can his body hold up to when he gets to 100K? So if he stays like this, I reckon he can get, I would say at best 550. But he's got a tough matchup this week. I don't hate it. And then I don't know. Yeah, but don't let us ruin your golden plans because you're sitting in a very good position. So I mean, if that works, then go for it. Yes, this week for VC. Oh, for VCNC with Butters and Baz.
Yeah. Baz.
I think, yeah, I'd go Butters. Ollie loves mushroom soup coaches for virgins. Let's be honest. Why do you think we're right here doing it? It's because we are. All right.
Power to you, buddy.
Power to you. Oh, he's also said you boys look like North supporters.
I look like a North supporter with a Freo Guernsey behind me. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I heard all North supporters are pretty sexy, so I mean, I'll take that. Big Bubba 1983. I'm tempted to VC Holmes. Twams.
I'm
team.
tempted to vice captain Holmes, though teams have got to try to stop him at some stage. He can't keep doing what he's doing to teams. Yeah, this is my argument. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Smith is the one that gets tagged.
But if you tag Holmes, Smith's doing the exact same thing.
Exactly right. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. MCB me out views, Long Lord, Cooper Lord, I presume. Tom McCarthy, JHF Darcy. I love that.
Excellent.
Those are excellent moves, MCBB. CWT, McCarthy D1 120 plus. Genuinely might be.
The dream.
The
dream.
My God.
I'd love that.
I'm grabbing a 24th premium. He's probably going to outscore my 24th premium. Fucking hell. Placey, SuperCoach, how do you feel about tonight's game, Damo? We might be in for a tough one.
Placey, this game has Freo loses by a goal after the siren written all over
it. He's a bit of a nervous man for this week. He's a bit of a nervous man.
Dockers have not been able to put away games like this under Justin Longmuir, and it's scary.
There's only 4 North supporters, and none of them resemble you lot. No, I take it as a compliment. I'm helping out a struggling club. CWT, I should probably say I'm not going Pressia, I don't think, but he only needs 3 to 4 weeks on the field to make great cash. The devil on my shoulder is telling me to do it, Lamau. Well, you got to trust your gut, and I think that's where you've done to put yourself in the position you're currently in. So, if you want to look through all your avenues of trades each week, and if that's what works for your team for the run home, I don't see a problem with it. I'm not going to change people's minds on that. Stand on business. We want to see M1 on your side. Jono, the Flying Viking confirmed debut, by the way. Bloody tough first game for him, unfortunately.
I love it, though. I love throwing him in the deep end.
That's what you got to do.
Screams sub-vest, though.
Does it? Yeah, he should play. Saints need to start rolling out the Viking for the rest of the year, I feel. I think we'll wrap it up there, guys. Good old stream that was. Thank you all for your questions this week. Damo, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. It's always great to be here on a Thursday.
We love your work, everyone. Thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, listen to the Footy Mailbag every week, and we'll see you next week.